Hello, everybody. This is Mahadeva, the Thunder Wizard, aka Michael William Denny. So, today I want to talk to you about divination using probably the two most popular forms of divination in the world today, which would be tarot versus runes. And so I've asked questions that people have asked me many times, which is more accurate, tarot or runes? Which form of divination is better, tarot or runes? So I guess let me first share my experience. I am a rune reader. I have books about runes. I've written 3 books about runes, and one called Rune Divination, which is just focused on using runes to divine the unknown, whatever it is. I've used runes for years. For years, I was a phone psychic. I got to tell you first, I don't consider myself a psychic. And the way I got into being a phone psychic was that I had begun studying the runes, and in fact, I had written about them. You can go here, courses.thunderwizard.com, and see my books, which are all on Amazon. So you can go into Amazon and type in Michael William Denny, and you can see my rune books there. So this was after I had gotten divorced in 2012. Actually, the end, like December 2012, I didn't get divorced. We got separated, and I took off, and I ended up living in the middle of the woods in northern Idaho, and I didn't have any job or any money, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I didn't want to go drive down the street and apply to the Walmart, 20 miles away. So what I started asking myself, what could I do? And I said, well, I just wrote a book on runes. How can I make a living off of that? And I said, well, people do this all day. They're phone psychics. They do it all the time. They use tarot, they use whatever. And so I just started doing that. I didn't tell anybody what I was using. And so it gave me a really fast way to learn about runes, to learn about them, and to master rune divination. So I have books about all that. I won't get into it, and I have a bunch of videos, and I have actually have training videos here. Courses.thunderwizard.com, you can see those. Also lockdown.thunderwizard.com, you can see the rune training videos there. This, by the way, is while we're going through this lockdown, in this coronavirus lockdown, and people are isolating at home, nothing better to do. I've taken, I forget how much, almost $2,500 off all of my stuff that I give online, plus a bunch of personal sessions. Anyway, go check that out if you're interested. So, I learned how to use runes in divination. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was going to try and use some kind of tool to predict specific future events, are you ready? This is from a rune teacher, rune master. I would use tarot. Tarot is just designed better for that. I mean, I realized tarot, from what I have read, although people may dispute this, but from my research, tarot actually started as a card game, and then it was later turned into a means of divination. I'll get back to that, because why would that be the case? People actually think that runes are similar, that runes were just an alphabet that later became a form of divination, and I disagree with that. But in terms of predicting the future, I have had better results, more accurate results with what's going to happen tomorrow with this and that with tarot. And I think the reason for that is because runes and tarot are very different animals, completely different animals. Now, when it comes to divining the essence of the energy of anything, runes, far superior. And here's something I've learned about the runes. The runes aren't trying to tell you what's going to happen in the future or what was happening in the past. What the runes are trying to do is show you the energies that are happening right now, this very second. And if you are going to look forward to the future with the runes, what the runes will show you is where energy is wanting to go. In my experience, it doesn't mean that that's where things have to end up. It just means that if left to itself, this is the nature of where the energy wants to go. And so when I was doing psychic reading, the reason why I was successful at it is because the vast majority of the people calling me were women wanting to know about some man. And usually, how does he feel about me? In fact, I'd spend hours with some people, and there was one woman in particular who was paying my bills. She'd call me every day, so, like days on end, and talk to me for an hour about whoever she was interested in or whatever was going on. And the question would come back to, how does he feel about me, and what does he think about this, and what is he? And the runes worked really well for that, because the runes are looking at the nature of energy at the moment. And yeah, so that can tell you where energy wants to go. But the factor in all of this that, in my experience anyway, is your free will. You can choose to change things. Now, I do a specific kind of rune reading called a 9-world rune reading. And I've found it to be really, really amazingly powerful and helpful. And what it does is it takes a look at a person and or a question using the 9 worlds of the ancient Norse world tree. Now, those 9 worlds correspond with 9 aspects of the human mind, the psyche. And so you can really get a look at what's happening with a person. You can do it with a relationship, because lots of times what's happening on the surface isn't what's underneath. And when you get down to what's underneath, you can see, oh wow, things are actually pretty good. Whereas on the surface there might be some problems, and vice versa. On the surface, things might look really good until you start digging underneath and you find out that underneath there's a bunch of rotten stuff under there. It's not so good. And finding out what you need to become conscious of, and that affects your ability to choose where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So for me, the runes are tapping into the primal energy of the universe. I was going to say energies, but that's really not accurate, because the runes are not the energies of the universe. The runes are the energy of the universe, and then you can then surgically break that apart and look at the forces within the energy that makes up the universe. And like for instance, there isn't a rune in here if you wanted to find out, is somebody going to live or is somebody going to die? There isn't a rune in there for that. Now, some people might think there are, but when I've worked at it, even if you had to pick a rune for death, which would be the Yuhwaj rune, and you might be confused by the way I'm pronouncing it, but that's because people pronounce this rune Ehwaj. Oh, they're right next to each other. Look at that. Ehwaj and Ihwaj, almost the same. That's because we don't have this letter anymore to spell it with. So actually this is the U tree, Y-E-W. This is the rune. This is trying to look like a U tree, and so that's how I pronounce it, Yuhwaj. This is a U tree because here you have the tree comes up, and then if you've ever seen U trees, their branches go down. They go all the way down into the into the dirt, and then they dig in and they become roots for the next tree that comes up. So you might be walking through a grove of yew trees and it's only one tree. And they tend to make these like these tunnels of branches, and you're walking through these tunnels of branches, and they're two yew trees. You know, one sprouted up and then made the branches go down into the earth, and then those branches went down and came up as another tree somewhere else. So even this rune of Yuhuaj, somebody could say it's death, but it's not death. It's transformation. And that's what death is anyway. Death is a transformation. You're transforming from one life to wherever your next life is. It's a transformation, and it's never just static. So trying to ask the universe about some of these kinds of questions, the universe goes, what are you talking about? There is no death. We're transforming this being into something else, but nothing here is going to die. Birth, same thing. Birth is, birth and death, all that. So for me, the runes aren't, and this could be me projecting my philosophy of things onto the runes. I personally don't think so, because I've had, like when it comes to, for me, if I want to look at like a relationship and I want to look at what's going to happen with a relationship, I'll be honest with you. A tarot reading is going to be more accurate in telling me the specifics of yes or no, good or bad, up or down. Rune reading isn't going to tell me, yes, you guys are going to get married, or it's going to tell me, here are the energies going on here. And so you have to look at it in terms of that, in terms of without any judgment. If I had to put my finger on it, I would say the runes don't have any judgment about things being good or bad, up or down, right or wrong. It's just, here's this energy and here's this energy, and then you interpret that. But it's like you're looking at an infinite hologram, and you can take bits and pieces of that infinite hologram and come back and walk away with whatever it was that stuck in your mind, and it doesn't make you wrong, but you're definitely missing all of the rest of the stuff, because it's just sitting there without any judgment. Tarot, there are, the Tower, and then there's the Fool, and then there's, I don't know what, I'm not really all that hip on tarot, but it gets more like in the human mind of saying, this is this is that, this is good, this is bad, this is up, this is down. So that's my experience with runes. And my experience with the runes is that you can use them for divination, but again, it's more like when I do rune readings, I'm not trying to find out what's going to happen. I'm trying to find out what are the energies and how can I capitalize on certain energies that are happening for me, and how can I transform certain energies that may not be serving me in the moment. And the great thing about the runes is that they're trying to tell you what to do to achieve a dynamic balance. So I would say runes are definitely more shamanic in that way. They're more of, a shaman is somebody who is seeking to create balance in a dynamic balance in an ever-changing universe. I mean, look at where we are right now. Who knows when you're going to watch this. Hopefully you're going to watch this in a few months, and you'll be looking back on this whole coronavirus lockdown thing, and you'll be going, yeah, glad that's over. Right now, it's just started. This is March 24th of 2020, so it's just started, and everybody's like, I am too. I'm finally going, wait, what? What's happening? I can't go to this, and I can't go to the gym, and I can't do what now? And there's the plane, and the borders are closed, and the what, who, where, how? What's going on here? The whole world is shut down. What's happening? So, we've got probably some challenging times ahead, and we'll see. It is my hope, and we'll see if this isn't just, wishful thinking on my part, but people right now are talking about 6 months here in this country. I'm in Australia at the moment. They're talking about shutting everything down and keeping everything closed for 6 months. And that is going to be so devastating on the economy. It's just going to, I mean, so many people are so worried right now. And just from what I'm seeing here, I don't think it's necessary here. But it's better to overdo than, to do too much than to do too little. But we'll see. I've got it, it's recording now, so I'll come back to this in 6 months and see if I was right or wrong. But I don't think it's going to last an entire 6 months. I can't see that. With the intensity with which everything is being locked down and shut down, I think it's going to pass. I'm going to say 3 months maximum. I'm going to say, by, May, end of May at the latest, I think that there will have been enough change that things will have lifted or will start to lift, and things will get back to normal. So again, that might be my wishful thinking, but that's my intuition is telling me that the more than a few astrologers, including myself, when they look at when things are going to change, it looks like that's when things are going to change. So hopefully this has been the right thing to do. So anyway, if you're new to my channel, you go up here to thunderwizard.com and you can subscribe at whatever level you want. If you want to learn in depth teaching where I go beyond what I normally do on this channel, you can go there. If you want to see all of my books, including my rune books, 3 rune books, as well as all of my rune teaching series, you can go to courses.thunderwizard.com and see everything that's there. And right now, during this lockdown, I've got this lockdown.thunderwizard.com where I'm giving everything that I possibly can give in terms of video and personal services. I think I'm something like, if I look at 6 personal services that's a lot. I can't even, we're talking thousands of dollars. And I took off, what did I take off? $2,500 or something, some crazy amount of thousands of dollars off. So as long as we're in lockdown here, I want to be able to provide as much of the readily available stuff that I can, and give you guys something to do while you're locked down. You won't be able to get through all of this stuff during lockdown. I feel quite confident about that after the lockdown is over, you will still have video teachings and packages that you haven't had time to get to because you've been working on all the other stuff I've been given. So there you go, lockdown.thunderwizard.com. All right, that's it for me. Again, I think you'll be seeing a lot more of me for reasons that are obvious. All right, guys, that's it. See you later.